What is up, everybody? I'm still got to get back. I don't do that many live streams anymore, so I've got to get back used to it. I'm doing like 5 this weekend. It is Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team, have reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Chesu.
Hey, good day, sir. Always good to see you. And for those that may have forgotten who I am, because it's been a whole week, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We support entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage their business is in, and then help them create a strategy to grow their companies exponentially. And I am an entrepreneur myself. I run a company called Detailing Nights. So we provide mobile, waterless car cleaning, and we are hiring. So tonight, Friday, April the 25th at 6:30, we are doing an info session for the different job positions that we have. So if you know anybody looking for a job this summer, please invite them to our info session. And Chesu, I'll pass it to you.
Oh, wow. Like, I love all the exciting intros. Like, I wish I had one prepared for myself like that.
We'll use the Dr. Fraser formula. We'll get it structured for you. He always teaches us how to pitch ourselves. That's the one thing I take away.
What? So it's all the creative brain behind it is Dr. Vibe?
Dr. George Fraser.
Oh, yeah, I see. I see.
He was the keynote at the symposium. But actually, it's on our, what's it called? Facebook too. I'm going to find that. Yeah.
Oh,
you have to structure it.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
Someone needs to teach me back.
I can.
Yeah.
I can.
Yes, please.
What's been going on in everyone's world? It's been a while, like, since we've all been together. What's been going on this week? Chesu, you have been with us for at least a week or so. It's up probably a week.
More than that. At least
more than that, because we didn't broadcast on Good Friday. Easter Monday, we had myself, Ryan, and Cesar, and Chesu was upset because she wasn't on with Cesar.
Yeah.
But we'll get him back. So what's going on with everybody? It seems like a minute. You see, I'm still sort of getting my ducks in a row back in regards to live streams. Some little but what's been going on, everybody?
I'll let Ryan go first on that one.
You know, this week has been pretty interesting with trying to get ready for hiring. There's a couple schools that we're working with to do like entrepreneur projects. So with Detailing Nights, we do it like an entrepreneur program where we teach like the benefits of entrepreneurship, but then we actually do a project. So the project is the car wash fundraiser. So we have I think there's a grade 8 class, there's a high school.
I need my car wash.
Bring it through.
What's the date?
It's going to be in June. So
okay.
I'll let you know the date.
Okay. All right, because people are saying you need your car wash. I'm waiting for Ryan. I'm waiting for DK. I'm waiting for DK.
So, and now we're starting to work with more sports teams because a couple parents reached out to me saying like, hey, would this car wash fundraiser thing work to raise funds for a sports team? Of course. So I think of basketball, soccer, 2 soccer teams, we're going to be doing fundraisers for them. So stay tuned for the pictures and a place to get your car washed. But also, because with the car wash, you can get a certificate to actually get the full detail too. So you want to take care of full end-to-end with your car cleaning.
Very nice. Very nice. Everyone's Easter was good. Chesu, your Easter was okay?
Yeah, my Easter was good. It was really good. I really enjoyed my Easter.
Nice.
So what's usually the, I guess, logistics with Easter? You have to go to parents, or how do you typically?
So I hosted Easter this time.
That is something I have never done. That's heavy lifting, man.
Yeah, it was really hard because I didn't have enough furniture for everyone. So I actually hired out a table and chairs, and I set it up, and it was like people were like, whoa, like they were so
Yeah.
happy. And honestly, I had a nice time doing it, but it's so hard to host everyone because,
You didn't invite me,
oh,
so how can it be the real jam without me? Can I come? What was being served?
How's she gonna know that you didn't have a dinner to go to?
You
yes,
don't know unless you ask.
Right.
yeah.
Listen,
I thought you had something to go to. You know what? It was so hard because I did serve potato salad, greens, like the typical things, but then people nowadays are so like healthy, and like I had one uh cousin of mine who she is gluten free and dairy free.
Oh
oh,
Lord have mercy.
wow.
Yeah, so it's like a
So
combination.
yeah, so not Australian. Go on.
You only eat air.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine like trying to like accommodate to all the different people,
That is
personalities,
tough.
dietary restrictions. Like it was really hard. So I think the hardest thing with hosting is not everyone is going to leave completely happy, and you have to be okay with that.
Welcome to real life.
Listen, my parents, it's like they cook what they cook and you eat what you eat. Like if you can't eat and you can't find something to eat, yeah, it's tough luck, man. There ain't no a la carte like requests. Like, can I request a gluten-free version, please? Nah.
Not happening. Oh, good morning. Fitness IQ says Monin. So good to hear from you, Fitness IQ. Artly Creative Agency. Haven't seen you here before. Very good to have you here this morning. And if you're up to it, please subscribe. We'd like to hear about what you do. And Just Toronado. Yes. Just Toronado is in the house. That is beautiful.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Speaking of Easter, before we switch gears, I have a bit of a debate happening in my house right now. So,
Okay.
with Easter bun, the ends of the bun, is that used for a sandwich or is that garbage? Like, do we eat the ends of the bun or do you throw it out?
I guess bougie people can afford to throw it out.
So now expand that. So with all bread, is the end of the bread edible, or like for sliced bread, is the end of the bread edible, or is that garbage?
I don't eat that much bread anymore. So if I did, I would still use it. And I'm not that bougie, sorry.
You know what? I use it. I use the end of the bread. Like
Okay.
I use like my mom would kill me if I threw it out.
Ooh,
Right. Actually, because I did a poll on Instagram. By the
Yeah.
way, I have to check to see. I didn't check the results. Let me see if we got any results here. Where is it? Oh no. Okay. Oh, how do you check the results in Instagram?
well, you should
Looking
check.
at it. Does it show? Oh, 100. Okay, so 104. Oh no, wait. Oh, view results. Here we go. It's 50-50. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
This is ridiculous.
Oh
This
my.
debate has not been solved. It doesn't show me who voted that it's garbage. I need to check who that was.
All right.
People.
But so let's do some other stuff here. I was debating in my mind whether we should chat about this, but I want to make it short and sweet because I don't get in this content. Any comments about Shannon Sharp?
Oh.
It was a setup, bro.
Oh,
Even like it's very touchy because at any point a woman can say no, by all means.
Mm.
That is not in debate.
Mm.
But the aggressiveness that this woman was going after him, it feels like a setup because then he'd be in a certain mode based on how they were talking to then say no at the end to trap him. So if she said no and he didn't stop, that's on him. But she was definitely a willing participant up to that point. And the way the timing of all of it is not is very suspect because he was just about to sign $100 million deal, and now this comes out. So I feel sorry for her if she was put in a position and did not feel safe, but she definitely was a willing participant up to that point. And it's unfortunate for him, man, because it's hard to come back from this stuff. Like, even if he's innocent, he can be destroyed. That is the part for a black man that hurts and makes me nervous, because even if you feel like you're doing everything right, an allegation can just derail everything.
Yeah, this is a really hard one because my issue was he's older and he's much older and he's messing around with a 19-year-old. That to me was already a problem because he's a successful black man who has a lot to lose. So
yes.
Okay. And a lot of our elders would say, never mess around with someone who has nothing to lose.
What was the upside? Just a piece of ass? Like, you must be able to look past. Like, this is a total landmine. Everything about it. You meet her at the gym. She's super aggressive. Like, she has nothing to lose, just like you said, Chesu. And this guy, the rise of Shannon Sharpe over the last year has been like meteoric. I don't know any other personality that has grown so much in such a short time. I don't know if that got to his head where he felt like he was untouchable. He went back into like the jock mode, like when he was probably a football player coming up and, you're chasing girls. His head went right back to that space. Like,
okay, we gotta go to break. But I'll just add a little bit, bro. You're 55 years old, messing with a 19-year-old, bro. You've had allegations against you before, bro. Let's call it real. If you are a black man, especially a black man who is in spotlight, you gotta be careful, bro. I don't see you donating any of your money to the black community, bro. And and you have a non-melanated lawyer, bro. You are offering this lady $10 million. If you felt you were innocent, why are you offering her $10 million?
You can't.
Bro, okay, let's leave it at that because we could chat about. And notice we're not even talking. There's an election on Monday, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
But we'll get to that after the break. And there's a whole pile of comments. Plus, we have a friend joining us today. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll get on to some real important subjects in the world. Well, no, that one is too, because there's a lot of, maybe, I don't know when you're going to, between that and 47, there's so much. It's great for content creators, by the way. It's a prime time for especially melanated content creators. We got so much we can chat about. It's so much fun. But let's go to a break and we'll be right back.
Five Blacks Restaurant Week, an amazing week, a flavorful week. We are eating good.
It's a national campaign created to promote Black-owned Canadian cuisine, food trucks, pop-up kitchens, and chefs.
Go out, taste the food, enjoy it, and get to know us and get to know our culture.
Puts the spotlight on Black-owned dining establishments right across the country, not just here.
Let's make it quick. Please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. I think we are getting close to 790 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please do it. Also, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. In the Morning Vibe Discord group, email me at dr.vibe at the vibe.show.com or click on the link there to advertise your business product or service on any of the platforms I'm on. Email me. And then Indie Soup Media. Did Dr. Technology tell me they're at 26,000 now?
It is amazing.
Independent content creator platform, a little over a year, 26,000 followers or subscribers. Sorry, subscribers. Get that different on YouTube. And I'm one of the contributors, and I'm also on the advisory board. Producer, hang with me. We're going to start with this comment. Okay, we'll start with this one. The food plane says, Dr. Tachi's in the house. So,
hey, food plane.
All right. And C Nurse K says, it seems like people are waiting longer to start families, which gives them more time to explore their career path. So one of the reasons they're waiting longer because it's not cheap to start a family. Most don't have the responsibility of providing for their family. Wayne Harris says younger people are sometimes delusional as to their value to a company or a role. Gen Z wants to work for companies that align with their ethics, whether that's sustainability, diversity, or mental health support. If the company doesn't walk the talk, they're out.
Yeah.
Artly Creative Agency, the world will change overnight when the baby boomers pass on. It is changing already.
Yeah.
The food plane says because Gen Z grew up with the internet, they're more likely to find efficient or unconventional ways to work. That quote shortcut unquote mindset can be mistaken for laziness instead of resourcefulness. Food plane, you are in on this conversation. Loving that. Wayne Harris says lower barriers to entry, greater access to information, harder to focus, mistaking passion for income earning. C Nurse K says, Dr. Tachi, you are 100% correct. If I were to pass on, they would offer condolences, then replace me immediately. Next. Yes, we are replaceable. Food plane, mix of both. Gen X brings depth, Gen Z brings energy. That combo is powerful if you can get them to respect what the other brings to the table. Wayne Harris says the younger generations know that corporations ain't loyal, so they reciprocate.
Yeah.
Wayne Harris says transactions versus loyalty. Article Creative Agency says that self-care is so important. And then finally, Food Plane says, but if I had to choose on general traits for sustainability, leadership, or mentorship roles, Gen X. For innovation, tech-forward roles, or audience engagement, Gen Z. Wow. Okay. We are right up to date. So just to do a reset here, we are talking about the subject today. Are Gen Zs lazy? Are they lazy? So we are continuing the conversation. Dr. Tachi, I think you want to add something.
Yeah, sorry, excuse me.
No problem.
I was clearing my throat. The to Food Planes, to DS's thing, this is the interesting thing, because when we look at technology, I think most of us mean electronic technology, but every generation has grown up with technology. And abacus is technology. Anything that is an extension of your senses that makes tasks easier is essentially technology. So, but we've all used technology to mean computing, apps, etc., and it's more than that. But if we're looking at that, every generation basically had it available, but maybe not readily accessible. So if we look at computers, they actually really started to be implemented in the 1960s. My mother actually did her master's thesis, and she had to run, albeit it was the old mainframe computers where you use punch cards, but she still had to run the statistics on a computer. She didn't sit there and figure it out herself. So now, if we're talking about who grew up in a home with a computer where you had a laptop, etc., a lot of Gen Xers did. We started, like when we were in elementary school, we had computer classes. So we were the start of the generations that had readily accessible computers. Now, did everyone have one in their home? No, we did though. So I'd always grown up with computers. And then again, let's talk about the video gaming age. What are video games? Fun computers. So you talk about like Atari, ColecoVision, all those things, the home video games. You grew up with some sort of computers. And so it wasn't, we were all kids at the time, but adults bought them and they were also playing them as well. So you essentially, boomers did have access to computers as well. All right, when we talk about phones, you're talking about the first cell phones, for example, that were mass produced and mass distributed. That was the 90s, but cell phone technology has been out through the 80s. It's the expense that prevents people from having them accessible. But as things get cheap, mass produced, or they're able to be mass produced on a larger scale, that's when things come down, they get cheaper and they become accessible to the masses. So I just wanted to kind of make that delineation. So there's always been, innovation and technology in every generation. But in terms of electronic, I would say it really started to become mass with Gen X.
Point well taken. Point well taken. And Food Plane says, good point. So Food Plane is in agreement. Wonderful. Wonderful. This is now this conversation. I will, for myself, to chime in here, working with Gen Zers, one of the things that I've seen increase with numbers of them is the whole area of mental health. The mental, I've working with student interns over the last 2 years, the instances of mental health is increasing amongst that generation, which was totally, I knew it was out there, but to experience it directly with some young people that I've been working with, and it's really a big concern of mine.
May I add to that I think here are the things. Older generations were taught to tough it out. It's not that mental health issues did not exist. And especially if you happen to be of immigrant parentage, sad for what? You don't pay bills. Your only job is to go to school. Okay, so you don't go and tell
I grew up with that. I grew up with that too. That
exactly.
Yes, right?
Exactly. Anybody who grew up with certain generations, and then particularly if your parents were immigrants, you had that whole thing. There's no such thing as you should be honored. What are you sad for? What problems do you have? And the reality is, if you're human, you are susceptible to any of these things. And it does. And I think there was also the thought process with with mental health issues. Oh, no, Africans don't have mental health issues. And I'm like, okay, well, if you think about, and then, Black people don't, right? Mm-hmm. But if you think about much of the trauma that on the whole, many of us have gone through, or as a people, we've gone through, why wouldn't there be something that's not quite right? Mm-hmm. The whole field of epigenetics actually looks at how trauma is internalized and then becomes part of your DNA. Now, it can be changed. You have to work through it. But if you don't take the time to work through it, which many people haven't, because it is seen as weakness to go and seek help for those types of things, it just becomes deeper embedded in your DNA. And then generations play out that trauma. It's real. So you wonder why, but it happens. And the fact that we have gone through past traumas is a testament to that fact. Yep. Now, again, I'm talking about Black people specifically, but this happens with anybody. This can happen with anybody. So I think you're right. It's come up more, but that's because it's more acceptable to say that something is wrong.
Yes, agreed. I just want to do a reset here. Again, we're doing a poll if you're watching live on the Dr. Vibe YouTube channel. Are Gen Zs lazy? Press 1, enter if you think yes. Press 2, enter if you think no. Press 3 if you're not sure. Right now we have the not sure, but I'm sure. I said sure. I think that people want some more engagement. I'll also put up another post for people to other things. I would like to get some more results on that if you are up to it. Chesu. Oh, one more comment. The Food Plane. This is the Food Plane's. He should be on this. He should be live because he's certainly rocking with a conversation. He goes, Gen Z came out of the age during school shootings, economic instability, the pandemic, climate anxiety, and nonstop social media pressure. The constant sense of uncertainty made mental health a central issue. I can't disagree with that from my end. Chesu, you want to chime in on that comment?
Yeah, I was actually going to say, like, to Dr. Tachi's point and the food plane, in the article, I did write about how COVID definitely affected our mental health because we were having to be locked away and shutdowns and quarantine, and some people who lived in different states or different countries were not able to see their families. I remember my sister was studying in China and she was coming back home to see us at the time, and she had just made it in that the shutdown wasn't there and we were able to see her. And I remember at that same time, I had to come to Canada for school. So I was coming to Canada during Canada's lockdown. And then when I came in, my mom and my grandma first got sick of COVID-19 and she died of COVID-19.
Oh, my condolences. Oh my goodness.
And then, thank you. And then
Sorry.
thank you. And then my mom got COVID as well. So she was hospitalized. And then the side effect of that was that she got high blood pressure from COVID. So I don't know if anyone has ever gotten sick of COVID, but it leaves some side effects sometimes, even if you recover from it. So I completely agree with the mental health aspect. Is like people went through losses. So it wasn't just the quarantine and the lockdown. It was people's parents died and they still had to keep going and they still had to move forward. Like my school fees were already paid in Canada. I couldn't just not go. I had to keep going and live life. And so I think we're just at a point where we've seen and experienced a lot. And I think other generations have too in their own right. But I think we've decided that we're going to prioritize that over everything else because life is just too short to prioritize anything else. So I completely agree with that sentiment. And, you know, I worked in childcare at the YMCA, and we had a scare of school shooting where someone called in the school and said that they were going to shoot the school and come in and kill all the children. So we had a whole evacuation manual that we had to follow, exits and everything. So we're experiencing this like in real time, and we're having to just internalize it as normal and still have to go on living this in spite of. So I completely agree with all those factors and why we would prioritize our mental health over everything else.
Wow. Chesu, you've lived a life. And then some. Well, again, I'd like to express my condolences on the loss of your grandmother. That is, wow.
Yes.
Thank you.
The food plane says, grew up in the aftermath of the Cold War, the rise of divorce rates, and a time when latchkey kids were the norm. Mental health wasn't part of the public conversation. Also adds, therapy was stigmatized or seen as something, quote, seriously wrong people, unquote, needed. The grind culture was strong, especially in the 80s and 90s. You didn't talk about your feelings at work. You pushed through. Also adds, Gen Z may see Gen X as emotionally unavailable or out of touch. Gen X may see Gen Z as too fragile, overly sensitive, or too dependent on validation. Fitness IQ gives Chesu hugs. And the food plane says, oh, wow, sorry you had to go through that, Chesu. And C Nurse K says, so sorry for your loss. As Dr. Tachi fights with her microphone.
it fell over. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. No worries. Look who just jumped in. Magoo, good morning, everyone, he says. He finally jumped in. Migu, what's been going on? I know when Chesu's on, you're here. Are you a Gen Xer? Are you a Gen Xer, Migu? And also, are Gen Xers lazy? Are they?
You mean Gen Z?
Gen Z. Sorry, Gen Z. Gen Z. Are they lazy? Other comments either one of you want to add? This has been an incredible conversation. Incredible conversation.
Yeah, I really, really love all of the Food Plains comments. They're
Yes.
really spot on, very, very poignant. I think with the whole thing, this is interesting because he brought up latchkey kids. So all of that was a time when you could leave kids in the car by themselves. You could you would go home and your mother's like, don't open the door for anybody. So you would just be at, somebody called as the phone and you have to say, yeah, no, sorry, they're not available right now. You don't tell people they're not home because there was that whole kidnappings were big back then. So that was a whole thing and everybody was trying to avoid that. So it just made me think about all of those things. So if people see Gen Xers as unavailable, which would also include like younger millennials as well, that's because you had to be devoid of emotion. And God forbid you grew up in a city like New York City, where you still had to like show that you couldn't show weakness or whatever in New York. So God forbid that. So that kind of formulates your existence as an adult and the way you behave and how you I remember you try to be aware of the fact that not everybody does things the way you do. But I remember when one of my students had said something, this was a few years ago, and I was like, well, just fill out the form. Well, I don't know how to. You don't know how to fill out this form? I was appalled. But it occurred to me that that's something that their parents had done. I didn't ask my mother to do anything for me unless I really 100% needed her help, because, for Gen Xers and younger millennials, that's seen as, oh, you are burdening me with things that you should already know. So we ended up being a lot more high context because they didn't explain things to us. You figured it out. But because of that, that's where you saw you may not have felt that great with it. And so you over-explained to your older millennial younger millennial and Gen Z children. And consequently, they ended up not knowing how to do anything. So it was an overcompensation because of that.
Got some more comments here. C Nurse K says, I had a student during COVID. And it was very traumatic. I always feel that for a generation of nurses, it started during that time. And of course, for their entire world at that time. Absolutely. Food Plane says, mic drop. Yes, so true. We've got UK Web Boy, who I know that is. I know that is our friend. Oh, why am I forgetting his name now? Oh, Leon. That's Leon, Dr. Tachi.
Leon!
He's watching on
Leon.
Twitch. He does a lot of music on Twitch. Magoo says, no, I'm very much Gen Z, Dr. Vibe. I think there's something different about my generation. I think them having grown up in a generally different socioeconomic class compared to the previous. True. Hey, what is up, Derek? Derek T. Tuggle says, hey, Dr. Vibe, Dr. Tachi, and Chesu, good morning and condolences to Chesu. You can unmute yourself, Chesu. All right.
Thank you.
No problem. Drea Rich says, good morning. I am Gen X, so the aunt of Gen Xers. And if Gen Zs are considered lazy, we need to look at how they were raised. It's not all of them. Oh.
I agree.
I agree with that. Chesu, what do you think about that comment?
Yeah, no, I do agree. I do agree.
Very, very much. And of course, as Gen Zs are different, parenting is different over the years too, right? So adjusting to the world that it is now is different all the time. All the time. What, Chesu, being a Gen Zer, what are some of the biggest misconceptions you hear about Gen Zers that you feel are not true?
Oh, wow.
Or or two or three.
Two or three. I think the biggest one I actually hear a lot is just us being lazy. And I don't think that's true. I don't think that is true. And another one is the fact that we're not aware of our surroundings. Like we're self-centered. And I don't think so. I think we're a very empathetic generation. I mean, we're the generation of George Floyd and going in the streets and
Mhm.
protesting and free Palestine. Like we care about global issues, social issues. So I don't think we feel that the world revolves around us. And we're the generation of people, not boycotting certain brands and not going. Some people have talked about, I'm not going to shop at Target anymore. Like like it's just I feel like that's a big misconception. And
Mm.
I think the issue here is just when we focus on something and we see that thing as a global issue or a value, that's where our focus is. And we're just very stubborn about it. And I think that can come off very, very selfish in a way, but I don't think that's the intent.
All
May I
right.
add? I'm sorry.
May I? You're so Nigerian.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Um,
Go ahead.
yeah, I 100% agree with Chesu. I think though, if we look at it beyond the surface, all generations are the same. The only thing that's different is the music, the technology, etc. Because all we have to do is look at the civil rights movement. They said, "Oh, we can't sit where on the bus? Then we're not using the bus at all." So it starts with them, right? So this level of not accepting any type of treatment actually started with that act or those acts of civil disobedience. I think though there is difference in opportunities as well. So whereas back then there were very few things that you could do in terms, if you were, for example, a black or brown person, you were relegated to certain things. And yeah, you could protest, but then tomorrow you wouldn't have a job. So they were willing to do that. And so the stakes were higher, I think, for them, a lot higher for them. But the spirit is the same. Every generation had things that they were like, you know what? No, we're tired of this. The problem is we forget and go back to business as usual once we're thrown a little bit of carrot or green beans to forget. And then we're like, oh, everything is fine. When no, the problems are still there. They've just covered it up with a $5,000 band-aid. And once that $5,000 band-aid peels off, the problem is still there. Not to down the whole conversation, but
Okay. No, Dr. Tachi says, "Hey, Derek." And Just Toronado says, "What some call, quote, lazy, unquote, is often just jealousy in disguise. Gen Z isn't avoiding work, they're redefining it. Ooh, they look for smarter, not harder. And that threatens those stuck in outdated hustle mindsets." That's good. That's really good. That
absolutely.
is really one of these days we're gonna get Just Tornado on this show. We gotta find a way. Gotta find a way in regards to that.
You have to make your show 6 a.m. in the morning, then she can.
Yes. Right after her 6 a.m. show, then she'll come on. After she finishes, she probably doesn't want to be back online again. But that is so cool. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else, ladies, as we start winding it down? Because I know you both have, well, Dr. Taji has nothing to do, but Chesu, I know you have things to do. Anything else you want to add?
I wanted to add to what Dr. Tashi was saying that, I don't know if you heard last year about what was happening in Kenya and they were protesting against
Yes.
Yeah, and did you hear what they were saying about Gen Z? They were saying they only fear two things. That's hot porridge and hot porridge and marriage. That was the only two things.
Wow.
They did not fear death because they were being killed.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were being killed, and to me, like Dr. Tachi was saying, we saw that somewhere, right? We didn't just come up with it. You know, we're talking about Rosa Parks, like she's saying, the civil rights movement. Like we saw that from somewhere, and we are just like she said, the generations are more alike than we think, and I think there's more that actually brings us together than puts us apart. So, you know, I completely agree with that statement.
All right. Also, comments still coming in. Love this. Food Plane asks has a question for Chesu. What do you think is Gen Z's greatest strength?
Wow. Oh my God. Does anyone want to add to that question? Does anyone know?
For me, I even though I'm not in that group, is that they how can I put it? They have taken they've taken the stuff that their parents have, the bad stuff their parents have gone through, and they don't want it for themselves. They figured that out, saying, hey, I don't want that kind of lifestyle because I've seen what it's done to a lot of our parents in regards to emotional, physical, relationship health. And they're saying, hey, I don't want that. I don't want that. Not just off the top of my alleged mind.
For me, it's the fact that you all found Audacity on sale somewhere and you did the buy one get one free, because wherever that Audacity is on sale, please let me know, because I need that same Audacity. It's that it goes beyond the audacity of hope. It's like, even you know your worth,
Yeah.
and even if you're worthless, you still assert that you have some level of worth. Even if you're worthless or useless, you'll still assert that. Like, other people, other generations may sit and think for a while, like, am I really worth? You're like, I'm worth it. No, I don't know how to do surgery, but I'm still worth XYZ. So that's the greatest strength, in my opinion.
Our producer says, intelligent, smart, get to answer quickly. Chesu, what do you say? So we save the best for last.
Oh no, I honestly I agree with Dr. Tachi. Like I think for Gen Z, I was gonna call it stubbornness, but I think what she said, where it's just about audacity, I think that's what it is. It's just we are just so delusional, like we're confidently wrong sometimes. And we are just like, we don't care. It's like this, and where it's gonna get done like this. Like it's just that delusion. And I think like she said, like it's just it really makes us believe that we can do anything. Like we can do anything. The sky's the limit.
As we start winding down the conversation, I'm going to put up a poll for those who are watching live on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel. Just rating what you thought about today's show, today's conversation. From 1 to 5, 1 saying and 5 being out of bounds. So just press in either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 in the comment section on YouTube on the Dr. Vibe Show and press enter. And we'll give you the results of that a little bit later. But I don't think the family wants those because more comments are coming. Teresa, hello, Teresa, says, yes, Chesu, I agree that not all Gen Zs are lazy. I am very proud of 2 Gen Zs that I have raised through Chesu, including, so there's that I've raised, including Chesu. They are very hardworking and responsible. Okay. Magoo says, just Tornado. I agree with this statement. I think we have more courage to speak our minds and voice current issues and injustices and not as much care about the public eye's opinions. I say, you guys say what you want to say. You don't hold back, which is a beautiful thing. That whole political correct thing, right? C Nurse K says, I have heard the stereotype that Gen Z do not cook and just order out all the time. Just Tornado says, tell him, Dr. Tachi. Tell him, Dr. Tachi. Magoo says, beautiful statement, Chesu. Thank you for sharing light on Kenyans. The Kenyan emoji flag. Teresa says, Gen Zs are fearless.
Wow.
And the food plane says, love my Dr. Tachi. Love my Dr. Tachi. All right. People, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, can you please rate the conversation? All you have to do is press a number, either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and then enter. We want to know because we want to know what you think and how you're thinking about the conversation. That's all. Not asking too much, am I? I don't think I am. All right. Okay, as we wrap it up today, any final comments before we, as Dr. Tachi say, exit stage left? Any final things that we want to share out?
No, I really enjoyed. I always love having Dr. Tachi. Like, she's so funny. Like, and she's not even trying, but she's so funny. And always, Dr. Vibe, thank you for having me. I enjoyed Ryan and Ray, and it was a fun conversation.
Dr. Tachi.
As usual, stellar show. I really enjoyed being a guest on, even though it's just my avatar representing today. I enjoyed it. So thank you for having me as usual. Thank you.
The digital mic is always open for you, Dr. Tachi. You know that, but I just got to tell you that. Any more stuff coming up on Indie Soup Media that we need to know about?
Well, we are winding down. This is actually, today is the last day of the not of the season, but for most creators, this is the last show of their 8-week run, for those who have 8 weeks. And so on Monday, we start the encore season where we replay all 8 weeks. Then we take a break, a much needed break. So after we come back for break, that will be the summer 2025 season, and we'll have some new creators on board then. So I'm just getting everything aligned and in place for that to happen.
Okay. So some final comments. The food plane says, I highly enjoyed this show. Well, you were highly part of the success of this show, my man. You made it happen. C Nurse K says, great conversation as always. Thank you very much. Derek says, I would say depends on how they were raised, since my niece at 25 does real estate and can drive semi trucks. What? Hello. Ambition in that bloodline, I'm telling you. Props. The food plane says props to everyone in the comments. Great conversation. Just Tornado, great show and conversation. Right back at you. All right, let's show the poll. Let's get the poll, and then we'll do our final thoughts. Look at this. 100%. People thought we rocked it out of the park. Very nice. We appreciate that. That's cool. All right. Let's see what we got to do. It's a number of things. Chesu. That's where you can get a hold of her at Ches_rights on Instagram. And in many of the comment sections, that contact information is there. I didn't know she was going to jump in, but Dr. Tachi, Indie Soup TV, there's the information, YouTube, website. If you want to touch base with her on Instagram, it's at dr_Tachi, Tachi. All right, let's do some final things. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Join the Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe@vibeshow.com, or click on the link that you see on the screen, which is always in the comments section too. Advertise your business product or service on our platform. Email me dr.vibe@vibeshow.com. I'll put it up here again. That's the contact information for the Macmillan Group. Ray was on earlier. There's the contact information for Ryan O'Neill Knight, and I always like to say KN, not N. And LinkedIn, Ryan O'Neill Knight. Instagram at Ryan.Knight99. Email workwithme@RyanO'NeillKnight.com. This is where you can get a hold of me. Website, the drvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Instagram at The Dr. Vibe Show. X, drvibeshow. Email address dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. You can also, this is also broadcasting on Substack. Thank you very much. So we got our Substack family, and you can also catch me on Blue Sky at drvibe.bsky.social. And then finally, you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Also on the Afro-Caribbean Business Network on Facebook, and Ryan O'Neill Knight on YouTube. And it's just crazy. I was looking this morning. This is broadcasting live on 9 different platforms right now. That is crazy, but that's a beautiful thing. Distribution. All right. I think we're finished. Are we finished, Chesu? Are we finished, Dr. Tati?
Yes.
Thank you. As Queen Latifah would say, ladies first. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're, you know what? Remember to give yourself grace. And I'd say if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and always make it better. Over the weekend, primetime Saturday, 5 p.m. tomorrow. Black Canada Talking, 5 p.m. on Sunday. All these are Eastern time. 8 o'clock Sunday evening, Black Men Can Talk. Monday morning, if you're watching this, before the 28th of April, it's Election Day in Canada, so I'm sure we're going to be chatting about that. And then I'm seeing, if anyone's up to it, I'm going to see if I can get some Canadians together, Black Canadians together, talk about the election results on Monday night. I am pretty sure I can get Cesar on. Chesu, if you want to join us, we'd love to have you. And then next Friday, we have Wayne Harris. I have a feeling we're going to have Perry Douglas joining him to talk about the election results from a financial aspect for Black Canadians. So I'm going to be like Dr. Tachi and probably not get too much sleep for the next week. God bless. Peace to you all. Keep the faith and walk good.
This whole thing of using your business with plant-based products, don't you think your life should reflect that too?
Juke him, Carolyn. Juke him. The family loves us here because they're saying Fitness IQ Can says put a wig on to get in.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Like the ideas are just coming fast and furious here this morning. What? Okay, look at this. Global Women Ambassador. Good morning. Look forward. Okay.